somebody who could come in and
we know how to clean up the streets. I mean, Gavin Newsom cleaned up the streets of San Francisco when Xi Jinping showed up. I mean, it's just an act of the will. They don't want to do it.
Right, like when they get the whores off the street, when the mayor is like doing one of those cleanup.
Or like when the MLB All-Star game goes to Seattle, all of a sudden it's America's cleanest city.
Right. So you're saying if we can do it that one day.
Well, I'm saying it's an act of the will. It's all that it is. And look, woke, I won't even say left, woke philosophy is they don't really believe in private property. And at its core, why shouldn't someone be able to defecate on the side of the street? Who are you to judge?
Woke, yes, maybe.
I'm saying woke, not even liberal.
Right.
I'm making that distinction,
right,
which I think is a fair distinction.
That's another reason. Another one we can add to the list of woke is not liberal.
I think left versus liberal or woke versus liberal is an important distinction.
Right.
I will say what makes you different is few liberals stand up to the woke. And few liberals are willing to stand up to woke.
Absolutely, and few conservatives stand up to Trump.
Fair enough. I mean, you can stand up or disagree, but I guess you could say the question, is Trump, woke is an ideology. Is Trump an ideology? I mean, he's a person. MAGA is an ideology. But I mean, I disagree with Trump on a lot of stuff.
Bill Maher has once again taken aim at the so-called woke left, calling out what he sees as their absurd policies and outlandish ideas. Over the past few years, Maher has built a reputation for pushing back against the extremes of woke culture. So his latest remarks shouldn't shock anyone. Still, this round feels different. Sharper, bolder, and charged with the blunt honesty that always grabs headlines. His words aren't just criticism this time. They carry real sting and intensity. With the heat turned up higher than before, this takedown demands attention. Get ready, because it's fiercer than ever.
On the woke stuff, big time.
Oh, yes. I mean, and they, just the way within a religion, they hate their own apostates more. I would say they hate me more because I'm supposed to like get on the short bus to Crazy Town with them, and I won't. And yet I'm still a liberal and still like, you know, I mean, we probably could argue all day about Donald Trump and what he's doing, which I'm not down with. But, you know, it's always the people who are closest who think, oh gosh, you shouldn't have, you're a traitor of some.
I love how Bill Maher describes the woke left as a kind of mad town, because that's exactly what it feels like, a circus of nonsense. What makes it even wilder is the expectation that everyone else should blindly follow along. They demand total obedience, treating their every decree as if it were unquestionable fact. But the reality is simple. Their ideas don't hold up. These policies don't fix problems. They create new ones by tossing aside logic and playing common sense. And here's the thing. Most Americans won't buy into that foolishness, no matter how loudly it's shouted from the rooftops.
Because they thought you were one of them and that...
I am one of them. They're not one of me. Okay. It's the liberals who have...
So they've left you, not you left them.
Yeah, well, I feel like there's... Liberal and woke are two completely different things. It was the theme of my last stand-up special that I just did a few months ago. And it's basically, I mean, it wasn't the whole special, of course, but it was a large part of it devoted to that, to proving that case that, you know, what liberals believe, woke is something completely different. It's very often the opposite of it.
I think Bill Maher distanced himself from the woke left because it had clearly turned toxic. For that, they brand him a traitor. The idea that one of their own could break away from the script is something they simply can't handle. To them, he must have sold out, maybe for money, attention, or some hidden agenda. But the reality is much simpler. Maher didn't betray them. He outgrew them. Long before they realized it, he had already walked away from a movement that abandoned reason. And that's the part that stings the most. It wasn't Maher who turned on them. It was Maher who left them behind.
Let's live in a colorblind society. That's the goal. Woke's goal is, we see race everywhere.
Race obsession.
Yes. Okay. So that's not liberal. You change. Liberal is there a two-state solution. Woke is river to the sea. Okay. So just don't take my word and say you're that. You took this and took it to. You got off the F train, you fell asleep, and you got off the 20 stops too far, and don't blame me for that.
Maher points out the clear divide between this new woke worldview and classic liberalism, and honestly, he has a point. Let's be clear about something on this channel. We don't agree with Maher on everything. But that's okay, because true liberalism has always been about exactly that, the freedom to disagree without fear of losing your place. Woke culture, on the other hand, demands total conformity. step even slightly out of line, and you don't just face criticism, you're shamed, reprimanded, and often canceled altogether. That's the real difference, and Maher has no problem shining a spotlight on it.
Or smoke pot. No. And you're married and super Christian. We're going to get along great.
You know, this is going to just be perfect.
But can I just ask you, because I want to find out a lot about you, because you're obviously a super bright guy, but you do think that I have the right to live completely opposite than you do.
I think you can get as drunk as you'd like.
And you're that kind of an American, right? You're not forcing your opinions as.
I'm not here to say you can't. What are you talking about?
No matter how you feel about Charlie or Bill Maher, one thing is certain: they're not in the business of silencing opposing voices. Unlike the woke crowd that often tries to shut down disagreement, these two welcome it. They don't shove their bold, sometimes controversial opinions onto others. Instead, they create space for real debate, where different perspectives can clash openly. And honestly, that's far better than being stuck in a political echo chamber. It's rare to find that kind of openness today. Do you agree with them or not? Either way, at least you'll have the chance to be heard. That's what genuine conversation should look like.
Parties like the Hollywood parties, and this is probably not most of America exactly this way, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's that different. And first of all, in this town, it's all run by like the Nepo babies. The Nepo babies, the trust fund kids, is all these little 22-year-old
The J.B. Pritzker types.
Well,
I'm kidding.
No, I'm sure. I know who you mean, the governor of Illinois.
He inherited the Hyatt.
Oh,
fortune,
sure.
You know,
well,
the Nepo baby.
We invented Nepo baby out here. Okay, but yes, it's everywhere now.
It's no shock that some of the loudest woke voices in America come from Hollywood's so-called Nepo babies. That's not to say they don't have talent. Many of them do, and some have built impressive careers. But let's be honest, hard work alone didn't get them there. They were born into privilege, raised in comfort, and spared from the daily struggles most Americans face. From the moment they could walk, their last names opened doors, and their famous parents shielded them from the tougher realities of life. So when they push policies that defy basic common sense, it's not coming from experience or hardship. It comes from a life where the price of groceries, rent, or gas was never a concern. And that disconnect is exactly why their idea of progress often feels so out of touch with reality.
You know, I mean, again, I'm for picking that fruit too. It's silly to help drug addicts be drug addicts and keep them on the street. It's stupid to keep homeless on the street.
Oh, I totally agree.
As another way, liberals are different than the woke. The liberal thing forever was, for compassion's sake, get them off the street. That's not the woke version. Their version is, they're an endangered species. Don't touch them in their natural habitat, living under a bridge.
Let them defecate. Let them do whatever they want.
It's their thing. And, you know, I mean, there should be nothing more basic than a government claiming the streets. The streets are for the city.
In this case, Maher takes aim at progressive leaders like Gavin Newsom, who seem to think that handing out more drugs is the solution to America's addiction crisis. And he's right. The very people tasked with fixing the problem are pushing the idea that enabling addicts is somehow compassionate. Combine that with their so-called sanctuary city policies, and you've got a recipe for disaster. Just walk down the main streets of California today, and the reality hits hard. Entire blocks of homeless encampments, addicts sprawled across sidewalks, neighborhoods that once thrived now resembling open-air drug markets. The stench, the needles, the decay. It's not only heartbreaking, it's a full-blown public safety nightmare. Maher doesn't sugarcoat it. These policies aren't saving lives, they're destroying cities.
Maybe you can answer, why are these kind of things so difficult? You think, such common sense. Build a barracks. I know homeless people say they don't want to live there. You don't have a choice. Oh, we'll get robbed there. Hire security. It's pennies on the dollar. Why is it so difficult? I feel like I, with no real knowledge of this field, could do it. If I had people who would carry out I would say, okay, get me specs. I want to see where a place we could build it. I want to see what the barracks looks like. I want to see who works there. Is it really in the toilets? Whatever.
One of the harshest realities of life on the streets is that you don't get a choice in how the government decides to intervene. But let's be clear, sidewalks aren't homes. And no matter how advocates try to frame it, there is nothing dignified about living on the pavement. It's unsafe, unsustainable, and strips people of the security every human being deserves. The real goal must be to help them off the streets, not keep them trapped there indefinitely. Some argue that relocating the homeless leaves them exposed to theft, but what security do they truly have when living in tents under overpasses? Out there, they face constant risks: addiction, illness, crime. The streets cannot offer stability or safety. At the end of the day, pretending otherwise only adds to the suffering.
We know how to clean up the streets. I mean, Gavin Newsom cleaned up the streets of San Francisco when Xi Jinping showed up. I mean, it's just an act of the will. They don't want to do it.
Right, like when they get the whores off the street, when the mayor is like doing one of those cleanup.
Or like when the MLB All-Star game goes to Seattle, all of a sudden it's America's cleanest city.
Right. So you're saying if we can do it that one day.
Well, I'm saying it's an act of the will. It's all that it is. And look, woke, I won't even say left, woke philosophy is they don't really believe in private property. And at its core, why shouldn't someone be able to defecate on the side of the street? Who are you to do?
Exactly right. Solving homelessness doesn't take endless excuses. It takes political will. Look at Gavin Newsom. When a world leader was coming to town, San Francisco was suddenly cleaned up overnight. Tents vanished, trash disappeared, and open-air drug markets were swept away as if they had never existed. That alone proves the resources and solutions are there when the pressure is on. But here's the problem. That urgency always seems to fade when it's about helping ordinary Californians. Instead, leaders put on a show. They toss around words like compassion, hold press conferences, and pat themselves on the back while the crisis grows worse. The real aim isn't fixing the problem, it's looking good on camera. If they truly cared, they'd treat everyday citizens with the same seriousness as visiting VIPs. The truth is simple: the streets can be fixed. The only thing missing is the will to do it.
I'm saying woke, not even liberal.
Right.
I'm making that distinction,
Right,
which I think is
good.
a fair distinction.
That's another reason. Another one we can add to the list of woke is not liberal.
I think left versus liberal or woke versus liberal is an important distinction.
Right.
I will say what makes you different is few liberals stand up to the woke.
And
few liberals are willing to stand up to woke.
Absolutely. And few conservatives stand up to Trump.
Fair enough. I mean, you can stand up or disagree, but I guess you could say the question, is Trump, woke is an ideology. Is Trump an ideology? I mean, he's a person. MAGA is an ideology. But I mean, I disagree with Trump on a lot of stuff.
Charlie points out something many overlook. Woke culture isn't just a passing fad, it's a mindset. And that matters because while Donald Trump is just one man, an ideology behaves more like a virus. You can vote a politician out, you can mute them on social media, but once an idea takes root, it's far harder to get rid of. Through media, entertainment, schools, and society at large, it seeps into young, impressionable minds before they've had the chance to build real-world perspective. That's what makes it so powerful and so dangerous. People have limits. Ideas don't. They grow, evolve, and embed themselves into any institution willing to accept them. Charlie is right. Unless it's challenged directly, woke will outlast Trump by a long shot.
Yes.
Do you think he actually believes that? Like he would do that?
It's worse if he does or would. It's still horrible that an American president would say that. Look me in the eye and tell me if Obama had said that, what your reaction would be.
Wouldn't like it.
Wouldn't like it. I think it would be a little more vitriolic than that.
We'd be
apoplectic.
Upset.
Okay. I'm finding out how honest you are, Charlie, and
right.
so far I think you're doing good.
What makes Charlie stand out is his willingness to call out his own side when he thinks they're wrong. Unlike many on the left who treat self-criticism as untouchable, Charlie has no issue holding his allies accountable. His opinions aren't shaped by political loyalty. They come from deeply held convictions that guide his worldview. And even when it means disagreeing with someone as powerful as President Trump, he doesn't hesitate to speak up. That independence is what sets him apart. Charlie doesn't treat Trump as untouchable or as some kind of idol, as Bill Maher and others often claim. He respects him, yes, but he's no blind follower. When he disagrees, he says so. In today's political climate, where dissent is often punished, that kind of courage is rare. And that's the common ground between Charlie and Maher. Both are willing to challenge their own sides. Maher exposes the absurdity of woke ideology, while Charlie shows that loyalty, even to Trump, doesn't mean blind obedience. Together, they remind us of something America desperately needs: honesty, independence, and the courage to face uncomfortable truths. At the end of the day, real conversation doesn't come from echo chambers or political theater. It comes from leaders unafraid to think, speak, and act with integrity. That wraps up today's video. If you enjoyed this and want to see more, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.